place in these big spots against the sport's best. Oh, another pull.
Belal Muhammad's win at UFC 304 was a significant moment in his career and the welterweight division. Many expected Leon Edwards to continue his reign, but Belal proved them wrong. His wrestling skills were doubted by many before the fight because of how Edwards handled Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington in the past. But Belal surprised everyone by not only taking Edwards down, but also controlling the fight for most of the rounds. Edwards did manage to reverse positions a few times, but Belal stayed on top and dictated the pace of the match. After the fight, there was no doubt that Belal would win by decision, and he did. The fight wasn't exactly a thrilling spectacle, and Dana White wasn't too happy about it, which was clear at the press conference. But despite that, Belal is now the welterweight champion. He didn't seem fazed by the criticism and was already looking ahead to what's next.
It's just a fucking joke. And Belal Muhammad, let's talk about Belal Muhammad. My fucking, one of the greatest fighters of all time. And what he's done cannot be, emulated. You don't know what you're going to get with that guy. That guy's dangerous. Like you can't take that guy lightly. So shout out Belal Muhammad.
There are several possibilities for his first title defense, but it's likely that Kamaru Usman won't get the chance because he lost his last two fights. A rematch with Edwards doesn't seem to be in the cards either, because the fight wasn't close enough to warrant one. Shavkat Rakhmonov might be the next challenger. He is undefeated and ranks highly in the division. After the fight, Shavkat tweeted his congratulations to Belal, and he also called him out for a fight. Belal responded confidently at the press conference, saying he isn't afraid of anyone and has never turned down a fight. He made it clear that he is ready to take on whoever is next in line, no matter who it is.
I'm sure you would fight Shavkat, but would it be even better if he did beat Usman or if he did beat an Ian Gary, one of those guys?
Yeah, 100%. Because even for myself, when you look at all the names I had to go through, even after beating Wonder Boy, I still had to win 4 more fights to get there, and I had to take a short notice fight against Gilbert Burns. But all right, well, you're gonna just give it to him after beating the Wonder Boy fight. If him and Usman fought, that would make the most sense, and the winner would for sure deserve it. When Leon won the title, there was a clear number one contender. I was a clear number one contender, and they still gave it to Kobe.
Belal's rise to the top has been marked by determination and resilience. He mentioned how many fighters had turned down fights against him in the past. But now, as the champion, he is eager to cement his legacy. He isn't interested in calling out random fighters, but wants to face the best available challengers. His focus is on proving that he is the best welterweight to ever compete.
Downs and didn't get out wrestled. Merab just outpaced them. I wonder why fighters don't just run more like Merab. But dude, you're talking about the same Merab that gassed out against who was it? Dude, I don't know actually. What do you mean the cardio that this guy has? Are we talking about the same Merab? There's no way.
The fight against Leon Edwards was a statement from Belal. Many thought Edwards would have an easy time, but Belal showed everyone that he is a force to be reckoned with. Now that he's at the top, he's ready to take on all challengers and continue proving himself in the octagon. Fans and analysts alike are eager to see who will step up to face him next. It could be Shavkat Rakhmonov or another top contender. Whoever it is, Belal is prepared to walk through them just like he did with Edwards. In 2018, the UFC made headlines by signing a huge 7-year deal with ESPN worth about $1.5 billion. This deal was significant because it was roughly double what Fox had paid 7 years earlier to secure the UFC broadcasting rights. The move to ESPN was a game changer for the UFC, bringing the sport to a broader audience and making it more accessible to fans worldwide. The partnership also solidified the UFC's place among mainstream sports, putting it on the same level as the NBA and NFL in terms of media coverage. As broadcasting deals for other sports have continued to grow in value, it's widely believed that the UFC is in line to secure an even more lucrative deal when the current one ends. The speculation around the new deal suggests that the UFC could partner with more than one network or platform. This would be a shift from the current exclusive arrangement with ESPN, but it could be a smart move considering how other major sports leagues have expanded their broadcasting reach. Dana White recently hinted at this possibility during an appearance on a financial talk show. He mentioned that the UFC might end up with multiple broadcasting partners, similar to the NBA and NFL, which have deals with several networks. This could mean that different types of UFC events, such as the Contender Series, Fight Nights, and pay-per-view events, could be spread across various platforms. This strategy could increase the UFC's visibility and bring in even more revenue by tapping into different audiences. Although negotiations for the new broadcasting deal haven't started yet, the potential for a massive payday is clear. Other sports leagues have recently secured enormous deals, like the NBA, which signed a broadcasting contract reportedly worth around $76 billion with Disney, ESPN, and Amazon. The UFC might not reach those astronomical numbers, but it's poised to make a significant profit given its growing popularity and the expanding global fan base. Fighter pay has been a hot topic in the UFC for years, with many athletes and fans calling for higher purses and bonuses. If the UFC does secure a more lucrative deal, there will likely be increased pressure on the organization to share more of that wealth with the fighters. Whether this will lead to significantly higher pay for fighters remains to be seen, but it's a topic that will surely be debated as the new deal approaches. Another interesting aspect of the UFC's future broadcasting plans is how it will affect the sport's accessibility. If the UFC partners with multiple platforms, fans might need to subscribe to different services to watch all the events.
Yeah, no, I'm getting so many people now just putting out there, you're on steroids, you're this, you're that. And it's hilarious because, it's kind of like a compliment where the hard work that I'm putting in.
Paddy Pimblett has been making waves in the UFC, and his performance at UFC 304 was no exception. He continues to be a fighter that everyone talks about, and many want to challenge him in the octagon. His recent win against Bobby Green was impressive, especially considering that Green hadn't been submitted since 2009. Pimblett's submission victory earned him a $200,000 bonus, showing just how determined he was to secure the win. His consistent victories have now positioned him to likely break into the top 15 ranked lightweights, which is a significant milestone in his career. Next up, the UFC has announced the main fights for UFC 306, and the card is creating a lot of buzz. Dana White revealed that the event, scheduled for September 14, will be held at the Sphere in Las Vegas, a venue that has everyone excited. The headline fight will feature bantamweight champion Sean O'Malley going up against a surging contender Merab Dvalishvili. Another big fight on the UFC 306 card is a women's flyweight championship bout between current champion Alexa Grasso and former champion Valentina Shevchenko. This will be their third meeting, and fans are excited to see how this trilogy will unfold. Also, Brian Ortega is set to face Diego Lopez after their scheduled fight for UFC 303 was canceled last month, as fighters and fans alike are looking forward to what is expected to be an incredible night of fights.